Hey guys, I love the book of Habakkuk. It's a story about a Hebrew prophet that had a propensity to seek God. He was compelled to pursue the Lord on the practical issues of his life, the national circumstances of his people, and he picked up God's guidance and gave him some very prophetic and amazing things. And you know, it's only 3 chapters. I encourage you to, after this or sometime, just sit down and read all 3 chapters. And you're going to find some amazing things like write the vision and that it's going to come to pass, and the knowledge of the glory of the Lord will fill all the earth. There's some amazing promises in there. It gets to the end of the book, and he says in verse 17 through 19, though the fig tree should not blossom, and there be no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive should fail, and the fields produce no food, though the flock should be cut off from the fold, and there be no cattle in the stalls, he says, yet I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord is my strength. He has made my feet like hinds' feet, and he makes me walk on my high places. That's such a powerful summary at the end of a story. And I think there's something about the famous last words of just about anything. And this is this final point and conclusion of this person's experience. And he says, look, man, I have a determination to exult in the Lord. I'm going to triumph in my troubles. And he basically said, if the grocery supply chain fails, or gas prices go up, or my life doesn't feel as fruitful as it has been, I'm going to continue to keep first things first. And I'm going to just thank God for God being in my life. That's the best part, in fact, of all that we have here. And that's what the conclusion is of this Hebrew man, Habakkuk, who's saying to us, man, no matter what, I'm going to rejoice. I spoke to a friend recently, and he quoted this verse. And he wasn't hiding. He and I have a very transparent, open friendship relationship for many years. I felt comfortable to say when I'm doing great or when I'm not. And when I'm doing great, he rejoices with me. And when I'm not doing great, he lifts me up in prayer. And I endeavor to be the same with him, you know. And so he was going through some challenges. And he said, but this is what I'm going to worship God anyway. I'm going to celebrate and love the Lord. And even though this isn't the easiest moment in my life, this is what I'm going to do. I'm decisional, I'm volitional. I've been made in God's image. He's a creator. He's made me creative. He's given me free moral agency or free will or choice. So I choose today not to develop a crummy, depressed outlook. I choose today not to worry. Today, I'm gonna just worship God. One time I was walking from my back door of my house to my car, and I was just so weighed down with concerns of my circumstances, and they were pretty serious to me at the time, and I felt anxiety and pain about it. And then I felt like God reminded me, hey, lift up your hands and praise. You know, it wasn't like, lift up your hands and praise. It was just a subtle prompting or a reminder. It's like, we're to do that. Paul the Apostle said we're to lift up holy hands without wrath or doubting. So there's something about when you lift up your hands, it's like you got to kind of pause and put down whatever you have. And I put what I had on the front of the car, and I just decided to lift up my hands. No, actually, I think I kept them tucked under one arm, and I lifted up one hand. So he said, lift up hands. I lifted up a hand. And I have this these side mirrors on my vehicle that had a chrome cover, it was chrome plated. So there was this really crazy reflection of me, like it was like a carnival glass, where my nose and it was all kind of wrapped funny, and my arm looked like a little spindly little thing. But even though it looked insignificant, I realized it caught me. I was like, wait a minute. Even though the fig tree should not blossom, even though my circumstances are kind of not what I want right now, I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. God, you sent your son Jesus to die on the cross for my sins, the sins that were separating me from you. So you have done such an outstanding sacrificial work to prevent me from going to hell. I'm going to exult in you and trust you and rejoice in you that somehow you're going to work all this other stuff out. Because all of a sudden, this isn't as big as that big deal. Jesus, you died to keep me from going to hell so I could be saved. So God, I know you're going to answer my prayer. I know you're going to come through as a God of all comfort. I trust, Lord, because you are the God of my salvation. The Lord is my strength. Say it. The Lord is my strength. King David in 1 Samuel 30, verse 6. When everybody was going berserk, people were murmuring, people were bitter, people were blame shifting. Circumstances were terrible on a national level for David and his people. At least in their world, it felt national. It was in a place called Ziklag. Their whole town was in disarray. But David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. That's why we do these. This is what this is designed for, just to one step into the spiritual gym, to get our lean muscle mass back, to get, not to be emaciated and diminished, but the Lord is the strength of my life, to get to strengthen ourselves in the Lord by the word. And this is what he said, I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord is my strength. He has made my feet like hinds' feet, and he has set me upon my high places. I pray God makes your footsteps sure. I pray he gives you skill, not just a toehold, but traction to arrive at your destiny full of faith, perfect timing, coordinated, ready to do all that God has for you to do. I pray the blessing of God on your day. I pray you have a great night's sleep tonight. I pray your thinking is clearer than ever. I pray you make great decisions. I pray God himself would deliver you from evil and from temptation. In Jesus' name.